Part 1. Home was the hardest battlefield. Are you seriously wearing that? The words floated across the room before I had even stepped completely through the doorway. For a brief second, everything became silent. My hand was still resting on the polished wooden door. The cool evening breeze followed me inside, carrying the faint scent of rain. I stood there in my navy blue military dress uniform, freshly pressed after weeks of deployment. Then the laughter started. Not loud, not explosive, just enough to tell me exactly where I belonged, or rather, where I didn't. My younger sister, Emily, leaned back in her chair with a glass of sparkling wine balanced between perfectly manicured fingers. She smiled the same smile she wore in magazine interviews, the smile that convinced millions of followers she was kind. "Seriously, Claire," she said with a playful laugh, "you look like you're about to inspect the restaurant instead of eating dinner." Several guests chuckled. My aunt covered her mouth, pretending to hide her laughter. My uncle shook his head. Even strangers sitting nearby looked in my direction. I remained still. Years in the military had taught me that silence often carried more strength than anger. "My name is Colonel Claire Anderson. For 19 years I had served my country. I had crossed deserts that seemed endless. I had flown through storms that most people only watched on television. I had watched soldiers become heroes, and heroes become names carved into stone. None of those memories frightened me anymore. But family dinners? Those always did. 6 hours earlier, the aircraft touched down with a soft bump. Outside the window, Austin stretched beneath the afternoon sun. The pilot welcomed everyone home. Passengers immediately reached for their phones. Messages, family, friends, excitement filled the cabin. I waited. Military training teaches patience. Eventually, I unlocked my secure phone. One message: "Emily, dinner, 7 o'clock. Don't embarrass us by arriving late." No welcome home, no how are you, no are you safe. Just instructions. I smiled to myself. Some things never changed. As I collected my duffel bag, families rushed toward arriving soldiers. Children screamed with excitement. Parents cried. Husbands embraced wives. One little boy saluted his father before jumping into his arms. The father laughed through tears. I quickly looked away, not because I was jealous, because somewhere deep inside I couldn't remember what that kind of welcome felt like. No one waited for me outside. No balloons, no hugs, no smiling faces, only a taxi line. The driver loaded my bag into the trunk. "Business trip?" he asked. I looked out the window. "No? Military?" "Yes," he nodded respectfully. "Thank you for serving." Simple words, honest words, they meant more than he could ever know. The city rolled past outside. Glass buildings reflected the evening sun. Restaurants overflowed with people beginning their weekends. Life looked peaceful, normal, almost unreal. Only 48 hours earlier, my team had been operating in one of the most dangerous regions on Earth. Dust, smoke, explosions, radio chatter. A rescue mission that almost went terribly wrong. One of my youngest officers had nearly lost his life protecting civilians. His face still haunted my thoughts. I wondered if he had finally reached home safely. Military life teaches you to carry memories like invisible backpacks. Heavy, constant, impossible to set down. Growing up, my family never understood any of it. When I enlisted at 18, my mother didn't cry, she didn't hug me. She simply folded laundry while saying, maybe they'll teach you discipline. That was goodbye. My father never looked up from his newspaper, he simply turned another page. The sound of paper flipping became the soundtrack of my departure. I left carrying one suitcase and a hope that one day they might finally be proud. Years passed, promotions came, deployments followed, leadership responsibilities increased. Every medal represented sacrifice, not success. Because every medal also reminded me of someone who never came home. People often admired military decorations, they never asked what they cost. My father's illness arrived unexpectedly. Cancer, aggressive, expensive. Treatment after treatment drained the family's savings. No one asked me for help. I simply started sending money, every deployment bonus, every hardship allowance, nearly everything. The transfers became routine. Money entered my account and left again within hours. No one ever thanked me. I never expected them to. Helping family shouldn't require applause. Emily had become famous online during those years. Millions followed her luxurious lifestyle, designer clothing, perfect vacations, expensive restaurants, motivational speeches. People called her inspirational. She often posted emotional photographs visiting our father in the hospital. Thousands commented, "You are such an amazing daughter, you never leave his side. What an incredible family." I would see those posts from military bases thousands of miles away, sometimes while wearing body armor, sometimes after missions that lasted 20 hours without sleep. People praised her devotion. No one knew the hospital bills were being paid from combat pay earned halfway around the world. I never corrected them. Truth doesn't always defend itself. Sometimes it simply waits. When my father passed away, I wasn't there, not because I didn't want to be, because I couldn't. My assignment remained classified. Communication was impossible. I learned about the funeral 3 days later, by accident, on social media. Emily posted dozens of photographs, black dress, perfect makeup, inspirational quotes, thousands of comments, millions of views. I stared at those pictures inside a military operations center. Bright computer screens surrounded me. Officers discussed national security.